Hi, everybody. I'd like to say thank you to everyone's support for the time and gratitude in the connections that I've shared and we've all shared with each other. And today I'd like to bring to you some things that have been with me for a while, and it's taken a bit of a lot of introspective work to actually find what I'm experiencing. So um, this will be my experience and my interpretation of what I've observed, and I am sharing it with you. Please, by all means, follow through uh, this within yourself as well. And if certain things don't make sense to you, then ask or respect that is part of your journey that you're going through as well. So today I am speaking about our splendor of our internal reality colliding clarity. And I start off with a quote by Samael Aun Weor, and he says, quote, "The entire solar system resembles the celestial body of a great being. This is the Logos, or the solar system, the ineffable, one." I'll say it again. The entire solar system resembles the celestial body of a great being. This is the Logos of the solar system, the ineffable one. And to find out what the word ineffable means, I've found it, and it means the word ineffable one means too great or extreme to be expressed or described in words. So something that is like beyond words. The ineffable mysteries of the soul. And I'm going to be dealing with something that's it's very detailed, and it also requires for you to perhaps listen to it a few times and just to sit with it a bit, and just to let it sit and work within your mind for you to understand. I have had a bit of difficulty to try and explain what I've been trying to bring forward. So let's get on with it. Now, I start off by saying that the circumstances that we're experiencing right now, location-wise on the planet and within ourselves, and I refer to this reminds me a lot of the healing of the blind beggar, which is mentioned in the Bible. I can only speak from what I remember, so I didn't put any verses or quotes or anything or any particular area where I've read this from. And it was mentioned where the blind beggar had asked for Jesus to heal him because he was blind, and there was a very specific action performed to make him see again, where spit was used and mixed with mud and put onto his eyes so that he could see. Now, I'm launching off with this because the entire body that I'm discussing with you and sharing with you has a very strong figurative and alchemical sense about it. So follow me through if you don't mind. So, okay, the spit is also water, as in the words, and earth, as in the mind. So when I spit into the mud to heal something inside someone, it means that I'm speaking something to you so that you mix it within your mind, which is the mud or earth, so that you can see. And it's also the healing of the narcon. That's a new word that I've thought up. I don't think I've heard it anywhere else. I'm calling these particular people narcons. That's narcissistic, archontic people. And we're healing to be able to do healing for this particular element that's coming up a lot. And I will address this in further in another video, should I have the appropriate material to actually discuss and share with you guys. Okay, so I'm just briefly touching on it here. The healing of the narcon or narcissistic archontic side of the matrix is what I'm looking at by bringing clarity to the mind through water as an alchemical transmutation process or action. And this also is how we do healing for people. When we heal someone, whatever it is that we are going to be healing in another person, that is the very same aspect that we have to heal within ourselves. So, in other words, the example for the blind man is to heal someone who cannot see something or cannot understand something. We have to find out what it is, particularly about that particular subject, so that we can heal that blindness or ignorance within ourselves. This particular situation, this particular thing about the narcon or the narcissistic archontic side of the matrix is what we are now healing by colliding the half-god-like system or half-life system, as in the previous video that I've made. If you don't follow what I'm explaining here, please have a look at the previous video. I will put this in the bottom in the link as a link for you to follow up, so that this can explain a bit more of the previous one. Okay. The Most High, which is the higher consciousness, the spirit of understanding, of awareness, the Most High has captured or glimpsed or gleamed the serpent of fire or feathered dragon. Feathers meaning air or thoughts, and serpent meaning body or transition or transmutation of the soul and spirit. Or soul, which is dragon, fire, as in movement through heat and emitting light. In the following, please take note that in your most highest mind or heart of understanding or standing in the internal realms in your consciousness, you have absorbed gnosis or knowledge of what is fiery and moves like the sacred dragon, or fire embodiment of active light, or fire which is light, air which is action. This is the collision of two polarities becoming whole. So there's the collision taking place. Please take note that this is a figurative description to explain my observations and experiences. I have to remind you, as how I've seen it. I saw the vision as a dragon of fiery embodiment. So I share this with you in that way. In this collision or colliding or collapsing, as previously explained, I will recap so that I can share with you that once upon a time, we were all godlike in our existence, and then we fell, and we became half-god beings, which now ties up and tied ourselves up to the other half, which is the matrix, meaning we've always been whole, we've always been wanting to become whole, but we were somehow not. The other part of ourselves were busy or is active in the matrix, trying to explain to you that you have more control than you think and feel at times. You have more capabilities and more gifts and more power within you than you think and feel or believe of yourself or be. That is a lie of its own. So during this internal and external dance, which is what I would call it, one could say it's a dance. It's where you move in between the two aspects. We are molding in our thoughts, our experiences. So seeing and experiencing and having it meld and mold around, mix. We are becoming more whole in our awareness, and what we think and feel we create, as opposed to co-create. That's very important. We were once co-creators, now we create. That is what I'm trying to bring to your attention, is that we are no more co-creators, but we are creators now. We are entering that door. All things are a part etheric or spirit, and another part earth, air, fire, and water. And in these parts, we are also linked. And in this, we are also spirit. And touching the face of the waters of the firmament, in thought, as in thoughts are air, and waters are words, and also referenced to water that surrounds us when we are babies or where we were born in. I am using specifically alchemy because the reason is to point out that all things that we are experiencing has got an alchemical or dimensional view or reflection or paradigm or parable for you to observe. So this is the only way I can explain it to you, to give you, to share with you what I am experiencing and what I'm seeing. And this is also how everybody else speaks with each other. And this is why there are so many stories that people have made. This is also to highlight that when you see and experience events, natural and cosmic at time, as it is right now with all the storms, the cataclysmic things of the nature, which is alchemy, we interpret all of these things within our thoughts, and that when you think, you feel that you have that understanding or awareness of these particular events. So you're seeing all of these things happening, and in your consciousness, in your higher consciousness, you're interpreting it through the alchemical process or transmutational process. And so you understand what it is that you're going through so that you can learn. It's also important that you realize that because of this, this is how we were all once formed. We are or were formed as first within thought, then you became the expression of that thought. And it is also how you create. And you are energy in motion, and your heart is the engine that steers, while your head is the compass, your stomach is the vessel for the soul, and your feet is the path. And what grounds you is the spirit, and where you are is in the boat or the body. All of this is to understand what wholeness is all about. Wholeness, the concept or the word is important so that we do not associate that specific idea with or belief of singularity or oneness. Whenever there's singularity or oneness, there's an immediate reflection to polarization, something that is on the one side, and then there would automatically be something on the other side. So we are basically transcending duality, the collision between what it is that we are feeling and thinking and experiencing, colliding with what we are becoming. And in this, we also embrace the wholeness of the sacred feminine and sacred masculine principles that are within us. So there is a union that is taking place right now, one that is of a spiritual nature. That which is male is figurative for the creator energy, force, fire, and the feminine energy, which is also earth and water. So there is collision taking place. And wholeness means to encompass all things and to be of all things, but to not be anything on its own. The embodiment of the demigod or half-life system. Note, please find out in the previous video what my discussion was about that particular subject. The half-life system or the demigod system is now to be united with itself, and that is what we are purging. We are purging the principle of something that was once half alive. We are purging that. We are getting rid of it. And what does not serve us, and where there is no assistance to what it is, to our higher awareness, that which is standing in our way. If we are not allowing ourselves, if we stand in our way in terms of that particular aspect, it also means that we are looking at ourselves as only a half-life, or something that is only half alive. But again, as I've said, please note that you find the previous video so you can understand what I meant by that particular statement about the half God, half mind. And that we are more in control than we seem to think and feel we are. Sight must be in tune with sight, as in sight. Sight must be in tune with what you are feeling by allowing your heart to work as the interpreter through whole thoughts in the light, as in understanding, as in awareness, not white, not black, not any other color, no fancy colors, transparent light, something that shows you the transparency of thoughts and spirit. No more mirroring. Mirroring tends to give an opposite reflection or a reversed view on things. These colors are attributed to the elements earth, air, fire, water, and spirit or ether. If there are any colors that we are experiencing on the earth, we are experiencing it as what we are, but our journey is to become completely whole, and all of these colors all mixed together become a transparent light. Firmament, I bring it up because it's important. The firmament is water-like, and it is soon to be distilled with air, water. Remember our words, soon to become purified with fire or heat that creates steam or air. There's the transparency. You can't see. Steam has got no color. It's transparent. Okay. As above, the air, the mind, the feathers, the thoughts, and the water, as in the speaking, the words being uttered, total transparency, total clarity in our actions, total awareness of who we are and where we are. And through this particular colliding process, so the earth, as in this location that we are in at this particular time, is experiencing the same thing, because we are, after all things, and she is part of us as we are part of her. So as we are experiencing this particular change and colliding of thoughts and things in our consciousness, she is experiencing the same thing through us as we are experiencing these things through her. And we are in this dancing. with her, so to speak. It's very interesting, reminds me of another parable that was mentioned about the crucifixion, where the spear was used in the Christ, or stabbed in the Christ, and out of his side, which is where the stomach is, blood and water came out. Blood is red. Blood is also what is used to be action, and water is words. And that wound is what we are dressing. That wound is what we are healing within ourselves. The actions require a sense of an emotional connection to what one sets out to experience. So where water and blood flows together, we offer to do and speak now more of what it is. Our actions and our thoughts and everything, it's happening all at the same time. There's a balance coming through. And not even so much a balance anymore as much as it is a wholeness. Balance indicates, or has indicated before the change, these changes that we're going through, as polarity and having to dance between the two. Now there is a wholeness, and we are now in a rhythm or in a harmony with ourselves. We are colliding, connecting with that harmony within ourselves. And sometimes we would need to chuck out certain things that don't suit us, or don't or do not fit us anymore. And we have to use love to do that, and we have to heal that within ourselves. If we want to fix things up in our surrounding with others, we need to fix those very same aspects or principles within ourselves. And that's where there was mention about the principles of light that you need to be concerned about, so that you don't appear to be all over the place, but you are focused and disciplined, and you use discernment. And in this, all of everything that I have brought, I've just spoken about now, these I call elements, and the activities that affect us on a personal level, we are now becoming our own light. Our light of insight, our light of awareness, as is also our truth. We are now getting to see who we are. We step through a proverbial doorway, or you can even call it a gateway, whatever you want to call it, but we are going through that particular arch or arc, light of our consciousness, that which grounds you. We are going through it and we are becoming a light emitting, giving being, one that is already present and in fact has always been there, but only now we are observing it through the every actions that we have made and done. This is not a primal union that I'm speaking about, or that I'm bringing up, of life giving, because we have been able to master that already. But now it is a union of spirit, of sacred great spirit within ourselves, where we observe ourselves for who we are. We are light as in truth, not white, not gold, not any color, light as in transparent truth. We are light. We have been looking for this particular light within ourselves for a long time, but we needed to break down many things that prevented us from seeing it within ourselves. And so as we seek to become our own sovereign beings in this time experience moment, we are experiencing our abilities and our actions. We see and experience we are no more separated from this particular process. We also embrace awareness, and that there are signs and wonders, but the internal change is always the internal, because we are essentially spirit in our vessels, our physical bodies. And so the entire process of going through everything is an internal experience or process, and the outside events mirror or not mirror show how we are feeling. There are some very testing times ahead for one's personal change and direction. And just remember that the greatest tool or weapon, to use it that way, because if I say weapon, it might condone or be warlike, but for the explanation purpose, I would say the greatest thing that you have, that you may take for granted, is the ability to create with your thoughts and your heart. It is also a weapon, and it is also the very thing that gets attacked through many, many ways in many, many activities. And it is also the very thing that can be healed with a little bit of work, because essentially we greatly, greatly underestimate our own presence of strength and our authentic self. So I'm wishing for you a very good one, that you have a very special connection with yourself, that you work on it, and that all wounds that require any kind of healing would require for you to try and see what it is that you struggle with. If you struggle with something specific, like just an example, being unloved by people, you feel lonely, you're not loved, then find out the best way to know how to heal that feeling is to actually start to become your own best friend, is to start to love yourself without causing abuse to another. You can love yourself. It's just very important that I have to bring this to your attention. Vanity is to love oneself at the cost of another. There's the difference. Have a beautiful day, time, evening, rest, and much love to you all. And I hope to connect with you soon. Take care.